Well, hello! Welcome to my first... Oh, goodness sakes. Is that the actual... Holy crap. Almost looks like... I didn't realize it until now. Mom painted this part darker purple, and then this part like lighter purple. I just realized I've been here 6 months. Oh, goodness. No, first podcast talking about 2020 Ford's total failure. Well, a lot of people would like to call it something other than that, but the real, actual truth of the situation is Ford has bungled all of their vehicles so much to the extent they're not going to bring any more new vehicles into North America in 2020 other than the Mustang. No more work trucks. F-150 failed. F-250 failed. F-350 failed. Ford Explorer failed. Ford Escape. Ford Focus. You know. Ford Fusion. It's kind of sad. Because I know from back in the day, a very good friend of mine I used to work with, he was ASE certified mechanic. He went to the Universal Technical Institute. Yes, it does spell UTI. That was a horrible anagram. Or not anagram. Whatever, a gram, you know. UTI, urinary tract infection. Universal Technical Institute of Phoenix, Arizona, and it was for automobiles. And he went through the whole spiel. And he did some drag race. He did the cool drag race and stuff, so he had the really cool ins and outs of a lot of different brands of industries takes on the actual plain Jane automotive industry and then the aftermarket industry. He knew them very well. And, of course, quite a bit of the out of the ordinary, Toyota fiddle around with stuff, where you... Or the Ford Ranger stuff where you try and stuff a 302 into a Ford Ranger, and that was the hot thing. And yeah, everybody wanted to do that because a Ford 302 is just a brilliant engine. So I've always been a GM guy just because that's kind of how I was raised. It's what all my parents like. They liked Toyotas and Hondas and GMs, the Chevys, GMC. But this one dude, he's like, man, I'm going to tell you what. You want a real work truck? You want something that delivers a great deal of power and torque, horsepower and torque, right off of idle to mid-range. We're talking maybe 2,500 to 3,000 RPMs. That's where you want all your power. That's what a work truck really does. You're not going to redline a work truck. You're not going to, just give it the beans. And that's not what you do with a work truck. That's what you do with a power boat or, etc., etc. But no, he took me out on a test drive once in a Ford. And me being the GM guy, I was like, But no, he had the onboard diagnostics plugged in. And I believe it was generation 2 at least. And motherfucker, oh my goodness, he was putting out tremendous. This Ford was, I want to say it was F-250. It was putting out amazing 275 horse, at like 1400 RPMs and like 289 foot-pounds of torque at right there at the same RPMs. And then it just went up, and it was wonderful, and that's why Ford was so good, believe it or not. They really had good engineers making great engines and great powertrains. It was kind of sad there for a while to see like Ford Lightning in the late 90s and stuff. It was like where they kind of molded the bed up into the cab, and it almost just looked like the thing had been rear-ended before you even bought it. It was brand new. Yeah, if you'd seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It was stupid. It looked like, I was like, okay, you're kind of form-fitting this to that, and yeah, you're paying extra attention to detail, but you can also say, oh, dude, I just bought a truck that looks like it's been rear-ended. Oh, God. Like, they did. It looked like crap to me. But, man, they came out with the Lightning supercharged version. It had like 380 something around there horsepower, and it was nice. It was well built, and with all due respect to Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, they'd all make cheap pieces of crap, and they would all make medium grade really nice stuff, and then they would make high grade nice trucks. So for anybody to really kind of crap on one or the other, it's like, oh, what did you buy? Did you buy something cheap, or did you buy something that was nice and purpose built? Dodge had the Cummins. The Cummins diesel was just, and still to this day, very reliable, very powerful, very sought after. Ford, they just couldn't make up their mind what they were going to do, and there was a lot of the early 2000s Chevy Duramax diesels that were spinning bearings after 30,000 miles, but I was like, oh, well, hold on a minute, who are you really giving this rig to, and who's really testing it? Are they changing the oil at the proper intervals? How are they treating it? How much are they overloading it, etc., yada yada yada. Because a lot of fools just don't know how to treat a vehicle, and just kind of make up crap as they go along and complain. I've seen every single story about someone damning or blessing a Dodge, Chevy, or Ford or whatever maker based off of kind of how they like to treat things and the abuse that they would take. Like a lot of weird dudes in the old days loved Datsuns. Yeah, because it would just take abuse. But no, really, it's very sad because Ford did a lot of stupid things. They were like, hey, we're going to make this killer engine, killer drivetrain. Then we're going to put an aluminum bed on it and call it a work truck. Oh, yeah. What happened to that bed? Oh, well, they put a lot of rock into it, and it just disintegrated, you know, and it's like, oh God, really? Who thought that up? Oh my goodness. Who was allowed to make that decision? It shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been. Like, and then you look along their line of rigs. Like, I change oil for a living, and Chevy is pretty reliable. You know, from the 4.8 liter, 5.3 liter, 6 liter, 6.2 liter, all four of those engines, they pretty much always religiously require 6 quarts of 530. The 4.3 is like, it requires 4.5 quarts. So the Chevy's very predictable when you pull one of those in. And however, they will require various different filters. Well, Ford, no, they don't do that. No, they're very. It varies. There's this huge, crazy spectrum. Yeah, every rig's different, and sometimes there's 4 to 6 different engines that it could come with, and I've heard so many people having an EcoBoost engine, and they blow it after 180, and they were taking good care of it. But I mean, the EcoBoost, that means you have a turbo. Turbos need to be, you gotta maintain them. It's not like a normal device that's just gonna last forever. No, this thing, its RPMs are in the 300,000 per minute range. You know, it's spinning ridiculously fast. They wear out, and then when they wear out, man, if you don't replace them, you're just going to make your engine work too hard. And then you're going to blow your engine. Sad to say. You're going to overheat it. That's going to have too much stress. It's going to be trying to fight this turbo that isn't working properly. And yeah, you can't just have this turbo that's worn out. And well, in a nutshell, I'm just very disappointed with Ford. I'm very sad to see them die like this. They had the power to stay alive, and it just feels like the CEO or whoever's making the choices just decided to, quite a long time ago, decide, hey, we're going to get these really good engineers in, make this engine, and then we're going to let this 6-year-old with a crayon decide where the oil filter goes, and it's all over like electrics, you know, like the Ford Ranger 3 liter. Oh, yeah. They put the oil filter above the starter. Like, no, you can't get a commutator, an alternator, or a starter filled with freaking oil. It won't work. It won't work. You can't do it. It's just, that's not, no. It's sad, because I don't hate Ford. I love Ford. Sometimes I hate working on Fords because it feels like they don't engineer their stuff to be worked on as well as GM, and it's kind of the same thing with Dodge. But I still love all three. You know, I still love all three. You know, and I mean Toyota, they're like skid plate on everything. Yeah. So I mean, everybody's got their little weird thing, you know. But yeah, It's sad. It's very sad. Goodbye, Ford. I think it's a bad thing for the economy. I think a lot of people are going to be upset about it. And a lot of people aren't going to be apprised of it when it actually happens. They're just going to go, oh, I can't get a Ford truck anymore? What? 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 Yeah, I'm sorry, man. They made too many bad decisions as a company. And nobody... They've had horrifically dwindling sales, and that's just the end of it. And it's very sad to see. They made some really badass trucks back in the day, in the 70s. Oh man, the 80s. They made awesome trucks, and awesome cars. I mean, goodness sakes, the Ford Mustang from 88 to 93 came stock with a 302 with roller rockers. Like, it was a badass engine. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it was that's still a very, very highly desirable engine still to this day. Like, no BS. Oh, yeah. And, kind of the equivalent is like Vortec, but ported. Yeah, it's a bummer. I hate to see an American company, just flush it all down the drain and go, we're just going to make Mustangs. Yep. We failed. We're just going to make Mustangs. It makes me sad. Makes me very, very sad. And I'm a GM guy, and I don't want to see Ford go away. I'd like to see Ford start making vehicles that are easier to work on. And follow the Subaru ethos. Put the oil filter, right side up, right? So you don't spill it all over your friggin' hand and burn yourself. Oh, God. Yeah, no kidding, right? Because so many people, they bring you their rig and it's all hot and warmed up and you just burn the crap out of your hand. They're like, oh, just put a rag in your hand. It's like, no, it'll still burn it. It soaks through. Dude. Oh, come on, Ford. I mean, Dodge started just making all the Durangos down in Mexico, and I was like, well, that sucks. But we can't make them in Michigan no more. Oh, they unionized. That's like, dude. What, you're afraid of the American Unionized Association of People? Well, that was when we made the stuff. That's when stuff actually lasted the longest. It was when it was American made, unionized in the 70s. It was. Grandma still has a microwave from the 70s. Sorry, never died. It was American made. Makes me sad. We shipped 50, in the last 20 years, we've shipped 50 million, if not more, manufacturing jobs overseas. What do we do with the Americans here? We have to take crappier menial jobs and move in with family. It's like, come on, we're not going to blame any one president. One president isn't responsible for all that jazz, I think Congress is more responsible than our president for the way that things go. I mean, the Electoral College. I mean, for Christ's sake. The popular vote. This was one of those few times when popular vote did not respect the electoral vote. That's why we stopped respecting the popular vote, because there was only like for Trump, there was like 2 times. It was like who was it? There was only 2 times before when the popular vote didn't respect the electoral vote, or vice versa. Excuse me. The electoral vote didn't actually correlate with the popular vote. And one of those was John F. Kennedy Jr., and then another one was somebody I can't remember. I feel bad for not being able to remember him. I'm not saying that he was a bad president. But now it's like, oh, not respecting the popular vote anymore? What? You're not respecting the taxpayers' vote anymore? Oh. I wonder if Ford's gone.